The repeat of 1992 is very much on.
Very much on, and just like that, Pakistan have made
Pakistan are in the final.
And to be fair, I had said it that if Babar Rizwan get going, you're in for a comfortable win. This is a chase right up their alley.
Yep.
Right up their alley.
Speaking of who said what, our man here had predicted this result, and he's also rooting, by the way, for not just India, Pakistan, but he's also rooting for an India win.
I mean, look, see, I'll tell you two things. First, before I get to that.
Yeah.
One thing, certain things in life are certain. Death, taxes, South Africa choking in major events, and you can add one more, Pakistan beating New Zealand in ICC event semi-finals. 1992, 1999, then 2007 T20 World Cup, and now 2022 has joined that list. Pakistan have made it a point to forever hurt New Zealand in ICC World T20 events. You're saying that, I always used to harp on the fact, right, that, India won only once in 35 years in ICC events against New Zealand. New Zealand, that also is a horror story if you have to look at it. They have only won 2 ICC Champions Trophy semi-finals against Pakistan. They have also won a World T20 League game against them.
This was last year, 2021.
2016. New Zealand.
Oh no, wait, 2021 Pakistan won, right? Yeah.
So, apart from that, Pakistan have always gotten the mojo over New Zealand when it comes to. And why did I predict? Why did I predict that Pakistan were the favourites? The sheer baggage of history. The absolute sheer baggage of history in the fact that Pakistan. There are 2 teams against whom Pakistan turned their A game against. One is New Zealand, the other is Sri Lanka, and the other one is England. Even their record in T20 in world events against England is staggering. But although as you had pointed out, they have not won in the T20 World Cup against England. They lost twice, 2009 and 2010.
And both of them were, by the way, comfortable victories for England.
Yep.
Both of them.
But if you look at the 30-year history of the ICC World Cup, Pakistan have only lost once to England. 30 years.
And it is one team, even though, in the shortest format of the game, as our captain Rohit Sharma in his pre-match press conference also said, stats and history don't really matter when it comes to the shortest format. Because things change so quickly. But one team who's loving history right now is the team that has made it to the final.
Yep. And Piyush Nandre, I totally, absolutely disagree. Absolutely.
No, this Pakistan team, I think Haydos is right. No one wants to be facing them at this point.
Yep.
It is the fact that they are just so unpredictable, and right now they are loving it.
They are loving it.
It displayed in their conduct on the field, the way they batted, the way they fielded, the way they bowled. What a team performance from Pakistan. Very impressive, by the way. If you ask a neutral, very impressive. I don't know. If you were to look at this game for Pakistan, there weren't really any areas of concern when you saw them today. They're restricted.
But however, go up just a little bit. We missed, Arpan Datta. I think Devon Conway will be kicking himself.
Horror game.
Dropped Babar and was generally pretty sloppy behind.
Dropped the match. Dropped the semi-final.
First over. Yep. Those are key moments. And in the first over, I think it was the 4th or the 5th ball of the first over where he dropped Babar Azam of all people.
Yes. I think that set the tone, that the force was with Pakistan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, all the bad luck that they had in the game against India and Zimbabwe.
It's all just been reversed.
Now in a big way. So, nothing went right for New Zealand. I mean, the bowling attack now for Pakistan, it seems at 152. I mean, many people were right. It was 10-15 runs below par. And Shaheen Afridi, Naseem, Mohammad Wasim Jr.
They bowled really well,
excellent in the power.
Just thinking aloud at the moment, if it were to be, I think Pakistan would want to face India now in the final.
Yeah, of course.
First, of course, is the fact that they've not beaten England. Perhaps if that thing was to ride on their minds in any way. Second is the fact that, just like India going into the group stage match against Pakistan, the Super 12 match I'm talking about, coming into the tournament, there was that feeling of vengeance, right? That feeling of revenge that you wanted from the previous game. Pakistan would now be raring to go and avenge their defeat, which is why, and look at it, as funny as it sounds, it all comes down to the Melbourne the cricket ground again.
So, okay.
Right where it started for both the teams.
Yes, Varun Parvati, this was not the usual NZ.
Scroll
The
up.
fielding was sloppy, the bowling was haywire. I mean, come on, 6 overs, 55 runs. That too, Tim Southee and Trent Bolt, either bowling too short or bowling on the legs. You'd know that Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan are fantastic players on the onside.
Exactly.
It is the offside that troubles Rizwan.
And Rizwan in
Babar.
particular.
Rizwan in particular, we've
Yes.
seen him stand exposed a couple of times just around the fourth
Yep.
stump.
So are we seeing 2007 vibes? Because look, Pakistan did beat New Zealand comprehensively in that
In
semi-final
27, yeah.
in 2007. But their passage, although
Achha,
I
and
may
back
say,
then also the group stage match between India and Pakistan was close.
was
It
a
went to
thriller.
low bowler.
But Akash Bharadwaj, Pakistan did not bounce back from being eliminated and reaching the final in 2007.
Which is where, but drawing parallels with 1992 makes much more sense here.
Because Pakistan qualified after that tie against India.
Yes.
So that is why they were not in danger of losing out. Of course, they did beat Sri Lanka, they did beat Australia, they did beat New Zealand. And you may argue for the fact that, okay, they were in prime form. But against India, you have to understand one major thing. The baggage of history is very much against them. So Pakistan will be wanting to face either England or India. That is no
Yeah,
problem.
then I don't think, the way they're playing right now,
But-
they have all bases covered.
But they would want to hurt India badly.
Yes.
And that is why they'll be determined that they'll be praying India comes to the final. Because look at it, this saga started in 1992, right at the Sydney cricket ground. And now 30 years later, who knows, they may end that vicious cycle with a win against India in Melbourne. We don't know for that. For that, we'll have to wait on November 13th. Only one team now stands in between them, and that is England. The same situation happened even in the 2016 Champions Trophy. But India
England
hammered
again,
Bangladesh.
Big match again for India tomorrow, and England are a big thorn in the flesh.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
be
yeah.
honest here.
They
They're
will
no
want to
pushovers.
throw a spanner in the works for
Yeah.
sure.
See, the problem is England are not that England of the 90s or the 2000s.
This is a
This
different
is
England.
a new England who play without fear.
Yes.
And even if they get knocked out in the semi-final, they still maintain that template which helped them get their cricket back on track in
in
2015.
2019.
Yeah, they do play that style of cricket in. That, go for it.
In fact, the thing is, people always say, oh, this current England team, they're not playing bang bang, they're not playing the England template. All I will say is that makes them more dangerous because they're not playing in a one-track minded manner.
Yes. Yep.
They're actually playing smart cricket.
Smartly, they're applying themselves, and that's what I
Exactly.
liked. What Josh Butler said in the press conference before the match. He said, and this was a question asked to him. We're not seeing batsmen go gung ho. You got to understand that these are different conditions
They're
altogether.
very different
And,
conditions.
For all teams, let's say, including Pakistan, it's the batting that has adapted to the conditions to be able to.
Yeah, because the
understand
bowlers are
that
getting-
Not every track can give you 200 runs.
Because-
For a team like England that are used to putting 200 runs, for teams like India, Pakistan who play in the subcontinent,
This
and
should actually
also
be
used to-
more.
more of a challenge for the subcontinent teams.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, they're now playing smart. Previously, and I remember this was the party line practically under Owen Morgan. We are only playing this way. Yes, we accept there may be results that won't go our way. We will only play this way. But again, it's a challenge of having to play in Australia at a time of the year when you haven't played cricket or international cricket in a long time. I don't ever remember cricket being played at this time of the year. So you're getting different conditions, you're having to adapt to that. And that's what makes them smarter because they're not actually, to be fair, if they were coming out with that template of, I'm going to play bang bang and I'm going to try and hit every ball, it was an easy win for India.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if they play smartly on a Adelaide pitch, which admittedly does have some juice,
Yep.
it's anyone's game.
See, anyway, the final will be fitting because, see, you may have the two teams or the three teams
Yeah.
who had adapted to the Australian conditions
Better than
pretty
anyone.
well.
Yeah.
Because look,
Better than the host for sure.
There you are.
yeah, better than the hosts. Because look, Australia have only gotten, although it was only one loss, by the way.
Yes.
But that one loss was so big that they crashed out.
And that's the thing, they were looking to attack hard, they were looking to play hard. And actually, if you look at it, who were the two batsmen who were key to them winning the title last year?
David Warner,
Warner,
Mitchell Marsh.
Who were the two batsmen this year who looked most off colour for them?
David Warner and Mitchell
Marsh. Because they were looking to play that similar way, be aggressive at all times. Warner in particular, he was getting out to playing reverse sweep shots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? You don't need to be playing that shot right now. Keep your wicket.
Yep. But so Pakistan, look, they had that tri-series in New Zealand.
Correct.
And that, in hindsight, if you look at it, has helped them brilliantly.
Yes.
Of course, every Pakistan team, when you look back in history, has struggled in Australia. Be it right from their first tour in the 1950s all the way now till 2022. Pakistan have had starting problems in Australia.
No, always.
But I'll say none of that counts now.
Actually,
None of
doesn't,
that
because
counts
look,
now.
they're in the final.
Also,
they
given
won.
that the summers in Australia have now well and truly arrived. You know, the pitches have cracked up a bit. Again, assisting, looking more
And
like
mind you, these are all used pitches.
all of them are used pitches.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And except the final Melbourne, that may be
Yeah,
on
that
fresh
will only
pitch.
be on a fresh track. But again, remember, even tomorrow's match against India versus England, it's going to be on a used pitch. It was
Yes.
a big talking point during the press conference.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So Pakistan, despite struggling in Australia, they won the 1992 World Cup there. They now stand a chance of winning the T20 World Cup also.
But I
if you have
will
to look
say
at it.
though, if I'm an,
They
if
stand
I'm
a good chance.
Yeah, if I'm a New Zealand fan, watching this match, I feel very disappointed at the way the cricketers played, especially the bowling. Plans were terrible. Like, okay, best example, you had a chance of making things tight when you got Rizwan out. Look, it's not a easy track to be scoring runs on. If you were economical and if you look to try and maybe take it to the last over, funny things can happen.
Yeah.
Lockie Ferguson, he misses a Yorker by this much, maybe an inch. Gets hit for a 4. Rather than look to go back for the Yorker, he bangs one in short.
And
Which
it's
Harris, who's well hit at that point, well set at that point. And to be fair, this pitch was offering no bounce. We saw it every time a bowler looked to go short. Like the first ball, Trent bowled. He tried a short ball. What did Rizwan do? Not the strongest of players on the offside, cracked him through the offside. And Harris saw that, eyes lit up, boom, 6. All the pressure gone.
Yes.
Done.
So Mohammad Haris has proven to be a difference maker for
absolutely.
Pakistan. So his arrival in this middle order has given them the solidity that maybe that Fakhar Zaman gave to them in the 2017 championship.
Actually, I would say more than no. He doesn't give them as much solidity. He gives them an X factor.
X factor.
Because
At
the
that
solidity
level.
comes from Shan.
Not many have done what again. Not many have seen what he can actually.
He's an out of syllabus question.
Exactly.
He's totally out of syllabus. The only team that know how to play
the
him.
one game that he played coming to the tournament.
England.
He's unleashed on the biggest of stages.
And he's like, yeah, no
Against
problem.
South Africa, he becomes that channel through which the pressure gets released for Pakistan.
And that's 3 straight games now. South Africa, Bangladesh, and now
today.
New Zealand.
Again, things could have gotten tricky, and that's what Shane was saying while we were walking into this.
Why am I saying Mohammad Haris and Fakhar Zaman are similar? Pakistan had lost very badly in 2017.
Against India, right? Yeah.
But when did their campaign begin their turnaround against South Africa? Who played in that?
Fakhar
Zaman.
Yes.
And ever since he came, Pakistan did lose.
No.
And if you look at it, Mohammad Haris when he came, Pakistan
haven't lost the game since they've beaten South Africa very convincingly.
They beat Bangladesh. They've now thrashed
New Zealand. I mean, wow.
I mean, it's really. I mean, New Zealand have only themselves to blame because
absolutely.
the bowling in the power play was absolutely woeful, and with the bat, they just did not get enough runs, if you may say, from the middle order because Williamson tried, Mitchell tried, but there was no other support. And just can we have a look at the scorecard, Anurag, if we can just have a look at the scorecard. I just want to look at the boundary count, not in a very odd, dark way, but
boundary count. Huh?
Yeah, boundary count. If you look at it, 4, 6, 9, 10 fours and 2 sixes. Look at how much Pakistan scored. Go down. Yep. 5, 7, 2,
12 and
14 fours and 1 6. 15 boundary hits. So already the aggression was set by Rizwan, Babar and Mohammad Haris. Simple.
You know, we saw Rizwan do something which we hadn't seen him do in
Which
the
is
last.
he's being more aggressive.
Be the aggressor. He was the aggressor, and that allowed Babar to take his time. Babar was under no pressure.
That's
Again,
why
this
actually
wasn't a big total anyway that they were chasing. Just about a par score, under par. I would say New Zealand was still about 15-20 short according to me. But having said that, those early boundaries, and again, mind you, it was poor bowling on New Zealand's part as well. They did make Babar, or in fact Rizwan for that matter.
Babar was the player to look to put under pressure.
Yes.
He was coming in no form, and I think that's why also Rizwan was smart. He knew that Babar would be under pressure. Let him take his time and play. It's not a big total. I'll be aggressive, and it really worked out well for them.
So one half of that dream has now been fulfilled. Pakistan are in the final.
And by the way, that also means that we're not going to have
this
a
is-
first time winner this time.
Of course,
around.
yes. That
yes.
new trend has now been broken. There will be no new winner in the World T20 for the first time.
Yeah.
But name
Now
of the
you will
trophy,
have-
Would one say name of the trophy?
But you will see a two-time winner joining the West
Indies for the first time since 2016.
16, yes. So you could either have England, you could either have India, or you could have Pakistan.
My
But
God.
interestingly, Darren Sammy, regardless, will continue to remain the only captain to win the trophy twice.
Yes, correct.
Yes, 2012 and 2016.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Pollard, Gale,
Yes.
Narayan, Samuels. Samuels the man of the final, in fact.
Yeah,
both
yeah.
finals.
Yes, both.
78
I
and
think
85.
He has a lot of runs in the knockout stages as well. So again, those 4-5 years for him, right from 2011 till about 16, he really enjoyed the ICC tournament, especially the T20 World Cup.
Yes, so will India join them on November 13? Because remember, tomorrow India take on England in Adelaide, and it has been raining there. As we speak, there was a report that Nikhil did.
Yeah, that
from
there was
Adelaide.
a little bit of a drizzle.
Yes, and remember, if you are to again compare 1992, the second semi-final between South Africa and England
Was rain affected.
Maybe we will not get to a 22 needed of one stage, because remember at that time the overs that were deducted
Yes.
was not proportional to the number of runs.
To be fair,
scored.
that method was a bit of a joke. That's why they brought in
But
Duckworth
the
Lewis.
DLS has continued to evolve again.
No, that wasn't Duckworth
That wasn't the
Lewis.
DLS.
It wasn't the DLS.
It was the rain rule.
Yeah.
Oh, it was yes,
exactly. It was
92.
after that
Yes.
debacle where they needed 21 of 1 that ICC realized that okay, we probably need a better system. Hence, and to be fair, whatever your criticisms about not being able to understand DLS, it's still a very effective system.
Not for South Africa. Not for the South Africans.
This time around, you
they
mean?
will want to parade you for saying that DLS is effective. Oh, really?
But which match are we talking about? Which they like this World Cup's match or
2003.
okay, yeah.
A simple misinterpretation. 229 was a winning total? No.
No.
+1.
Plus
But then isn't that their fault?
It is their
it was
fault.
a miscalculation on their
Yeah,
part.
well,
They thought they'd done it with
Which is why.
But at that
Boucher-
time-
Boucher, exactly. He just fended the ball.
No, but at that time the terminology was okay. Maybe all of us were just groping in the dark as to what is the DLS method. At that time they said, okay, 229 is the target. But what is the target?
Is the pass
Plus
score
one.
is what was said, right?
At that time, only in 2003, we came to know that such a thing called par score existed.
Yeah.
The target was
229
+1.
229 was the par
So
score.
the target will always be score +1. So in DLS it'll be par score +1.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Yeah.
At that time only we came to know what is this concept called
So I
the
mean,
par
and
score.
that is really down to their own misinterpretation.
Yeah.
Okay, we all were confused.
I mean,
but
2015 also the semi-final New Zealand versus South Africa.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
got rain impacted, but it took something freakish from McCullum and Grant Elliott
to
to
Elliott.
actually take
Yes.
them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now looking back at it, you needed someone with McCullum's proactivity in this game.
Yeah.
Okay,
But still, you know, the only sort of takeaway for me if I was in the New Zealand camp would be the fact that Darren Mitchell showed great maturity, and again he looked on course for a kind of innings that he played
Last year, right?
last year.
2021.
Exactly.
but again, look, that was different circumstances. That time Mitchell knew what the target was to chase.
I think today
Here, setting it up, different dynamic.
And
But
also-
again, he was the aggressor.
Yeah.
He's the one who hit that first boundary. Then for that big six also against Shadab, I guess.
Yep. He did.
Today I would be more annoyed if I'm in New Zealand front. I'd be more annoyed at the bowlers.
At the
they didn't
fielding.
execute and the fielding.
And the fielding.
I mean, can you believe it? Mitchell Santner, of all
dropped a
at
dolly.
point.
Absolute
at
dolly.
point, one of the safest fielders in the New
New
Zealand
Zealand team, which is saying something because all of them are safe
No,
fielders.
clear cut. The force was with Pakistan.
Oh
today.
yeah, of course.
If you see Mitchell Santner dropping a dolly, wasn't he's taken some outlandish catches
At the boundary line and everything.
even at cover, even at point. But man,
He dropped that.
He dropped that.
Yeah.
It ranks right up there with who dropped that England fielder who dropped Williamson of Jofra Archer.
Rohit Roy is saying, of course, that Babar scored less than 50 in the whole tournament, but scored important 50 in the semi-finals. Agreed. Hopefully, Hardik Rohit will step up in the semi-finals.
To be fair, I think there'll be a lot of I think now it started, but the scanner on Rohit.
Yes.
Because his form has been really underwhelming. We keep talking about, and
KL
I know
not
I
yeah.
drive the conversation as well. KL this, KL that. He has 2 half centuries.
Rohit doesn't.
No. Yep.
And remember, England are a far tougher proposition because look, With New Zealand, you can say, okay, disciplined cricket, you give a dose of their own medicine, New Zealand will crumble. And they are more weak-minded, if you may say, when it comes to facing certain opposition than England are. England, their only rivalry is, if you may say, where it hurts them mentally is Australia. But apart from that, no, they've turned the corner on white ball cricket against Australia also.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, even in 2019, they very comfortably beat Australia in the ODI World Cup. Very comfortably. And that was an ODI team, by the way, which had Warner Smith all back. And which also had that fearsome bowling quartet.
But you know, India have always played the second semi-final. And that also is a very, very big jinx for me.
Okay.
Because think of the instances when India have played in the second semi-final and gone on to win the tournament. One was 2011. They played in the second semi-final.
Correct.
They won that. 2013, second semi-final they played. They won that.
Right.
But 2003, they played the second semi-final. They didn't win that.
Although, to be fair, that was against an Australian team who were dominating the sport.
Yeah, but 2007,
What about 2007?
7 played the second semi-final. They won that. 20.
What about 14?
14, they played the second semi-final, but they
But
lost.
then they lost in the final.
16,
So it's been a mix.
16 played the second semi-final,
Lost the second semi-final.
because England had beaten New Zealand very badly in the first semi-final. 2019 played the second semi-final against
And
New
lost,
Zealand, lost. So that is why it's very, very even steam when you play the second semi-final, because look, you know who your opponent is. Maybe you may be distracted with that. And that is why probably if you look at it, they have a very even record when it comes to T20 World Cup or ODI World Cup semi-finals. But yeah, 83 second semi-final, they won.
But I think they'll be fired up. I think not just the fans across the country, not just people here in the studio.
Yeah.
I think the players as well would be wanting
But
an India-Pakistan final.
See, England is a different proposition. If it was the 90s or 2000 England side,
You're against, it's
India
a walkover.
are cantering.
Walkover.
Yes, but this England team, as Shane has been pointing out, they bat till number 11.
They do.
Their bowling, is top notch and aggressive for any kind of condition.
True.
See, Mark Wood is a doubtful starter for tomorrow.
Although, again, we know, for all you know, he might just play. He might. We don't know.
Maybe.
Or are these just tactics?
I don't know.
What play before
See,
the
who will be
tournament,
Who will be his
semi-final?
replacement? Who's in the squad?
Taimal
Tymal Mills?
or Chris Jordan.
I would go with Jordan, not Mills.
Because Jordan has got a good record against Surya Kumar Yadav.
And he's been good in the field as well.
Yeah, he's been their go-to
And
south
Jordan.
fielder.
And Jordan.
I think Jordan would most likely be the person.
Yeah, I mean,
Taimal Mills would be your replacement for Sam Curran.
You've got
if you
Sam
ask
Curran,
me.
perhaps.
You've got
you've
Chris
got a
Wokes.
left-hander
You've got
anyway.
Chris Wokes, who's been bowling really well.
And to be fair, Chris Wokes early on is getting that
swing. And on top of that, you've got Sam Curran, who's been a revelation in the death.
in death, and even early on, he bowls up
early
front
on,
as
yeah.
well.
Who knows? Tomorrow could be an off day for Sam Curran, for all we know.
Yeah.
But your two difference
But
makers
again,
are.
I don't think Sam Curran will be a factor that will play on India's one, because we've seen a lot of Sam Curran in the IPL as
No,
well.
but he's a different bowler now.
He is. He
Different bowler
undoubtedly
now.
is.
But if India
But was
do
he
that,
bowling? What I'm trying to recall here is, was he playing in that series that we played in England earlier this year?
no, he
No,
wasn't.
he wasn't.
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
Reece Topley played, but then he's not in this
He's not.
tournament.
He was in the squad,
he
but
was injured.
He got
He got
injured.
That's
injured.
why Taimal Mills came in.
I remember. Yeah.
No, but so just who changed the entire 2018 Test match series? It was
Sam
Sam Curran.
Yes.
Why do you think Sam Curran then made a big name in the IPL playing for Punjab Kings and Chennai Super Kings? It was all because of 2018 experience.
because of how he performed against India.
Yes, and imagine left armour, his action doesn't seem much. But man, when he's spot on,
He's very accurate, generates good pace, and his most important thing that he's done
Variations.
now. Yes.
Variations.
He's worked on variations. So he's
Which
not
is why
one
for
note.
me, actually, speaking of tomorrow's match, Surya versus Sam
Curran.
Curran is the matchup.
Yes, I mean,
Yes, tomorrow's match.
I just didn't mention Surya and Sam Curran. I said Surya versus the rest because he's in such a rich vein of form.
But I think
stopping Surya would take
What I'm saying
something.
is, all I'm saying is, he will be Josh Butler's go-to man if at all the other bowlers are taken to the cleaners by Surya.
Or maybe,
Kumar Yadav.
as we say, Chris Jordan, if the England team still like matchups, Jordan has a good record against Sky.
Sick, but again, good record in the sense 6 matches, 2-time dismissals.
That's a good. But for someone like Surya,
It is like a sliver of blue sky in a
Exactly.
dark-filled environment. I will just say that. So look, the other two, we are not talking about the other two players. Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali.
Moeen Ali.
Adil Rashid in
Moeen
particular.
in particular for me, because he has a very good record against Kohli.
Kohli.
Just
Only
does something.
tests. If I did the matchups, it's actually Adil Rashid who's got a better record against him in white ball cricket.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
Rashid, don't you remember the wicket of Virat Kohli pitching on leg, hitting off? Kohli just stunned.
Yes,
Leads.
yes.
Was that, there was Kohli? I recall
Yeah,
that as
Kohli.
being KL Rahul.
That's
Yes.
Kohli.
And
That's
it happened
Kohli.
in India, if I'm not wrong.
It happened in England, Leeds,
Then I know Adil has done it to KL also.
in Oval.
Yes, right.
Pitching way
ball of the
outside
century.
leg after
Ball of the
hitting a
century
century,
style.
yes.
Outside and boom.
Ashwin's ball.
Yep. Sridhar Savaikar. Okay.
Actually, to be fair, ball of the century was Warney. So.
Dhoni, yeah.
Why no criticism of Williamson, whose innings cost New Zealand?
No,
today?
he didn't.
Run a ball innings. Should he drop out of T20 team? I can imagine what criticism Virat must have got had he played such an
Yeah,
innings.
see, I mean, look, criticism is always fair game, but I don't think Williamson played a bad innings. I don't. Because it was played according to the situation. They had lost both their openers.
See, Sridhar, I can understand. Yeah, 46 of 41. In the broader context of it, yes, Williamson did struggle, but Williamson has been struggling in T20Is in the past
And more
1 year.
importantly, this pitch wasn't really a favorable one for anyone. Who were the batsmen who were doing really well?
Babar and
The one who got set.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Kane's problem was he did get set and then ended up getting out playing a very rash shot.
But I would say
Sridhar-
smartness on Shaheen's part.
Yeah,
he
of
slowed
course,
it down.
of course.
He slowed down that ball.
He knew what Williamson was going for.
Exactly.
Sridhar, one more thing. Williamson and Kohli can't be measured on that same yardstick
Because
because
Kohli's are.
Kohli is miles ahead of Kane Williamson when it comes to T20.
In fact, if you look at the top, the Fab Four, so called, then it's only Kohli who's a beast across formats.
Across formats,
yes.
yeah.
And Sridhar,
Yes, you
remember,
could argue, of course, Joe Root had a very good season again.
But Joe Root was ODI.
ODI, exactly.
And
in
tests.
tests
And
as
in
well.
tests,
Yeah,
yes, of
exactly.
course. I'm not talking white
Not
ball,
been
yeah.
the best year for
but
Kohli.
Sridhar,
we remember.
we did criticize Virat when he hit that 59 or 54 for RCB against Gujarat Titans.
Yeah, because
at
that
the
was a
Brabant.
slow innings, yeah.
That was a slow innings. So cricket analysis is saying, as I said, Pakistan will excellent. Tomorrow India will harsh but true.
Let's see.
Okay. Let me just play the devil's advocate here for a minute. You've got virtually 2.5 batsmen. 2.5 batsmen in the Indian cricket team. Virat, Sky, and the openers. They make up 2.5 batsmen. Hardik has not performed, unfortunately, after that
Neither
game
has
against
DK.
Pakistan. Neither has DK, but then
And Akshar either.
can
Pant.
Pant play tomorrow?
I have a
I think
strong
he
feeling
will.
it's
I think
fun.
he
He will. Okay.
Yes.
Because why I am saying Pant will now come into the picture in a bigger way, because Rashid and Moin, if there is one player who can tackle them both, it's
Rishabh.
Rishabh Pant.
But I think there's a bigger problem there if you get Pant in. Of course, it's the fact that he can counter the two spinners, and we're playing at the Oval where the square boundaries will be shorter. But it's the fact that if you want to play Pant, it only makes sense that you put Hardik down the order.
Of course, that will happen.
Then and we, as historically as we've seen, the whole of this year, let's say, Hardik Pandya is better off playing at number 5 not at number 6.
Yeah.
Because the later he comes, the lesser balls he gets, he is not able to make the kind of impact.
Exactly.
That
He takes a few balls to get set.
But Hardik will bat at 6.
He has to. That's exactly the only option.
Again,
Because Pant will bat at 5.
exactly.
Because look, KL, Rohit, Virat, Sky, that number 4
That-
batting
those
is
are-
sorted.
Set in
See,
stone.
that's untouched.
But Pant will be at 5, 6 will be Hardik, 7 will be Akshar, 8 will be Ashwin, 9, 10 and 11 will be Bhuvi, Shami, Arshdeep. That is my playing 11 for tomorrow, and
Yeah.
Pant will stay.
I think I won't change the playing 11. I think
Yep.
I think it's more or less an accepted thing that Rishabh Pant is definitely playing
It
tomorrow.
seems all signs point.
All signs.
It is
Exactly.
for
He-
the impact against England.
And of course, he played. I think he played the series as well earlier this year against England.
Scored a 125
Exactly.
But that was ODI. no?
ODI.
Yeah.
ODI.
He didn't play he played the T20s but didn't
Didn't
score
make an
much.
impact. Yeah.
Impact, yeah.
Yes, so that is why.
And we saw him play in the nets as well. He had a decent run in the nets.
Yeah, he was having a lot of time in the nets today.
Yes.
So that is why Pant will be your X factor, but at the same time, you have to also understand that this England team will have plans for every single player. Every single player that will be there. Okay, by that logic, Pradeep Shivalsan, before today, Pakistan had the same 2.5 batsmen. They still do. They still do. But Pradeep, big difference. The bigger difference is Pakistan's bowling with the addition of Mohammad Wasim is much more
No,
potent.
I'll in fact just go on and add over there to what he's saying. I think we've seen on not just today's match, in previous matches as well, we had seen that Pakistan middle order step up. we haven't yet seen it from the Indian team.
Yes, yes.
We've seen individual performances.
We've seen Virat and Surya. That's it.
And again, but interesting, yes, KL Rahul, I think a lot of attention should, because I was just drawing parallels, the kind of season that he's had, the kind of tournament, and the tournament he had last year, by the way. Lot of parallels to be seen over here. First two matches in the 2020 again, but against Afghanistan, Scotland and Namibia, he scored 50s. So last three matches of the group stage, he scored 50s. He's already scored 2 50s back to back. Can tomorrow be the same thing? Again, slow start to the tournament. He's gotten to 50s. Can he make it a third 50 in a row? Hopefully at the strike rate not at the strike rate he's been operating. We would want him to operate at a better strike rate. But he then becomes the key for me because Rohit Sharma is out of form.
But Venkat Sai makes a good point. He's saying that look, Pakistan, they won today because of the way they were hitting it in the power play. Will India repeat the same tomorrow? Very interesting question because India's approach in the power plays has been slow.
But KL Rahul has kind of broken out of that.
Last match only he was playing out.
He made it up.
He got a 36 ball 51 if I'm not wrong.
And then in the power play after 6 overs, India didn't make very good progress. I mean, they were.
But again, they were slow in the power play. That has to be agreed upon.
And to be fair, if we saw even today, why is it that Pakistan was so comfortable in the latter stages? Because they had that buffer. Same thing with England against Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
They were hard in the power play.
70.
So it didn't really matter how many wickets they lost. Yeah. They knew the asking rate was always in their control. They just needed one player to play smartly, which is what happened.
So at the end of the day, look, these two teams, India and England, are very, very evenly matched on all facets. I mean, we may argue that there are 2.5 players in the Indian team, batsmen, when I have to look at it. But they seem to be doing something.
Something right.
They seem to be something right and they're hanging on by it. So, I guess that is enough. You don't have to look at big totals. You don't have to look at wickets, cluster of wickets. You are doing something right at this point in time. Something right. So, I guess it will be about India's grit with England's talent. And yet again, look, India versus Pakistan and Pradeep, you were saying thrashing them the last over. Isn't it a bit ironical then, Pradeep? You can't thrash anybody in the last over.
Exactly.
It will be a close encounter. I will just say that. But yeah, England versus India tomorrow.
I'm expecting a good encounter. I think
it will be a fantastic encounter.
It will be.
Look, England also have to overcome their ICC.
Let's just have a look at what Harish is saying. Harish is saying, is it a good idea to go with DK and Pant by
No.
I don't think so.
No, you are only making one change. Or if you are making a change, Pant is in for DK.
But then that's not a change.
DK replaces Pant. Simple.
But that's not, if Pant stays, then it's not a change.
Yeah, it's not a change.
It's not a change. I'm saying if you have to make a change, DK comes in for Pant. That's it.
Again, and the reason being, you can't go a bowler short against this Pakistan team. Or
England team.
Against
Although
England,
it is also worth noting, I'm very tempted. This is something that I'm just, again, spitballing, thinking out loud, whatever. England's middle order has at least 3 or 4 left-handers.
Stokes.
Okay. You have Stokes. Malan plays him. But even if he doesn't play lower order, I'm forgetting who are there. Moeen. And Moeen, by the way, very good player of spin.
Yeah.
So you've got Moeen, you've got Karan as well.
Karan as well. So, would you be tempted to bowl Akshar in the power plays against the 2 right-handers?
Okay, so if you want to replace Akshar, then Yajvendra Chahal.
But again, no, that weakens your batting. So that's what I'm saying.
Now with Akshar and Ashwin, you're batting till number 8.
So I think with Akshar he's playing, but don't be surprised if tomorrow you see him bowl in the power plays. Both of England's openers are.
Have you seen that happen in this tournament though?
Not this tournament, but we've seen it happen in the Asia Cup.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And again, look, if you have to say open with Akshar and Bhuvi, why is that? Because Bhuvaneshwar Kumar has a fantastic record against Joss Butler.
Correct.
He's dismissed him 5 times in 9 matches, and so.
Then 2 of the dismissals came this year? Earlier this year?
Yes.
2 of the 3.
Yes.
And both those occasions, I think he was bowled over. Right?
Yeah. In-swinger. It was the in-swinger. Then you are playing on England's another weakness, which is left-arm spin. Akshar troubled them immensely, but that was a test match.
And don't forget what pitch that was also.
Yeah, I mean, Ahmedabad pitch, I'm sorry, it was not a true wicket.
It was 2 here at Ahmedabad, and I think 1 was in Chennai. The first 2 matches in Chennai.
And then
only the Ahmedabad wicket
Remember where the pink ball test
of
was
course,
it?
of
Yeah.
course. But he did pick some wickets in Chennai as well, if I'm not wrong.
No, he didn't.
Or was he brought in only
That was
for the
Ashwin
two?
who picked.
Ashwin.
Was he brought in only for the 2 matches in Ahmedabad?
Yes.
Correct. And he played there, and my
Yeah, of
God.
course, he bossed them. He bossed both the matches.
But again, if you have to look at it, England, there was nothing wrong in the pitch. Why? Straight balls and they're playing all over it.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Vaughan would disagree with you.
Oh, Michael Vaughan could say
Michael
whatever.
Vaughan can disagree on a lot of things with me. I don't mind it, but see, it was a straight ball.
Yeah.
You missed a straight ball. That was it. See, England, there once again, this Occidental and Oriental divide that is there, East-West. If they dish out green tops, then you're saying your technique has to be adapted to that.
Then
And
adapt
we
your
said the
technique to
same
play,
for
of
spin.
course.
That is the most important thing. So at the end of the day, let us understand one thing, that India are having a problem when it comes to how to utilize the bowlers, how to utilize them and how they'll be utilized. Adelaide, square boundaries are shorter,
Yeah.
straight boundaries are longer. Well, who does the right kind of planning, who executes the planning well, that will be very key for England and India. Because if you have to look at the weaknesses, England's inability to constantly beat India is hurting them, because their last T20 contest has been up, down, up, down, up, down. No one's held a continuous way. Even in the series in India, it was 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when India went to England, it was 2-1 in favor of India, although in favor of India.
Yeah.
But at the same time, England know how to beat India, and they are one of the few teams to secure over 10 wins against India. Other being Australia, the other, I think even South Africa have 10, but we know with South Africa what's the situation. New Zealand have about, I think they have 9 if I'm not mistaken. So India versus New Zealand is not happening as many people have thought. Oh, it could be India, New Zealand, but it's Pakistan.
But India, Pakistan is
very much on the
on
card.
very
And I
much on
had
the cards.
said about about a week back, I had done a video where it said India versus Pakistan final, how it will be possible. Netherlands must beat South Africa, which they did.
We saw that.
Pakistan beat Bangladesh, which
Which
they
they
did.
did.
Netherlands had to beat South Africa.
That changed the
I think
entire
by
equation.
the end of it, people in Bangladesh will be extremely thankful. I think they're all going to the Netherlands after this for a vacation.
No, actually, if you look at it, the Netherlands win kind of hurt Bangladesh. Why? Because they now had the tougher task of beating Pakistan. If South Africa had beaten
Yeah, then
Netherlands,
Pakistan were out of the equation.
no, then South Africa, India, then Zimbabwe had to beat India.
Yeah.
Bangladesh would have then said, okay, there's no pressure, we'll just go out and play.
And they might have actually won.
They might. I'm not saying it could have happened. I mean, Bangladesh winning consistently against a team is like asking for the blue moon to rise every day. So that is how it is. So now one finalist is done. It is Pakistan.
It is over to Adelaide now to
Over
find
to
out
Adelaide
who
tomorrow.
the second finalist will be.
India
Who's going to
versus
be joining
England.
Pakistan in the summit clash.
As I had said before, in the IPL, my predictions seem to have gotten alright, but in major events, it's
gone well.
It's gone well.
So far, so good.
No, but I honestly, I never ever predicted.
No one thought Netherlands is
Yes,
best.
I will honestly say it. I never predicted.
we just pointed out factually, this has to happen.
Yes,
No
and
one
it did
believed it would happen. God.
I mean, I can sum up one line, South Africa's thing. South Africa on their given day, even when you have to play a big game, they will lose to Garden Gnomes as well. So, Venkatananduri with a super chat. KL Rahul's first over maidens are putting pressure on Rohit. Rohit should face the first ball instead of KL. Just like he did until KL.
No, but
was went
I think
down.
to be fair,
Interestingly, since I read the question, I was reading somewhere this morning that Rohit Sharma's stats when he takes the strike and against when he's not are pretty much the same. So it doesn't really matter. He's averaging just about 32 when he takes strike.
Yeah.
And just about 28 when he doesn't take the strike.
also, I think the problem with that is that I don't think it's putting any pressure on Rohit. Rohit has put pressure on Rohit.
Yes.
By looking to bat aggressively and
Yes.
one-track minded way.
Yes.
When everyone can see that in this tournament it's
And
not about
it
that.
was more than evident in that game against Zimbabwe.
When he's charging down the swinging
when
balls.
he was charging down on the 7th or the 8th ball of the over after a maiden being played out by KL Rahul
Yep.
in the first over. So again, that's just trying too much. You've got to back your ability. You're Rohit Sharma at the end of the
And
day.
also, I think why KL takes strike more often than not is because Rohit's at this point weakness against a moving in ball. Although KL's is much better in that regard, is just so well known. And I think particularly with Pakistan, maybe they did it because of the left-hander factor.
Left-hander factor. And again, look, maybe Rohit is holding himself back. It
You
takes
would
a lot.
hope.
It takes a lot to keep a champion down, in Matthew Hayden's own words.
As
So,
what, and we saw what Babar
And we
did
saw,
today.
yes.
So
tomorrow it could be Rohit Rahul redemption day. Who knows?
Hopefully.
And it might happen. So hats off to Babar and Rizwan K. Yes, it is. It's really good. Rohit out of form. I think he just needs some time. But KL slow and Venkat Sai is saying.
no, I don't. I disagree. I think this is a case of and believe you me, I've backed on KL enough. But let's not be unfair. Let's actually be very fair and say that look, Rohit has put himself under pressure.
Yeah.
You've seen him bat like this now through the year.
Yeah.
He's looked to be too aggressive just for the sake of being aggressive. We have to play this new template and all of that. So
No, I would say, Pradeep, I wish we had Bumrah and Sir Jadeja, but then the Pacers have done really, really well. And if you have to look at by the winning of 90, having lost 3 wickets can be considered thrashing.
No.
Close game.
but that last part, we're all surprised with.
Yeah, even I've surprised myself often. Yes, that I'm getting some predictions right. I had said New Zealand, Pakistan. Why I didn't back New Zealand to win the title primarily because of the poor record in Australia.
And once they got Pakistan, then it was curtains.
It was curtains. I had anyway said it was curtains for me. So that's about it. And it's sad day for Black Caps fans, but it's been their story for 30 years now. You should get used to it by now. At least they're not in South Africa's predicament because South Africa find new ways to push the dimensions of choking. Once
I used to
again.
hate calling them that, but they make it impossible not to.
exactly.
And every year they say monkeys.
Now you don't really feel for South Africa anymore if you ask me, because again,
It's just
this
so
was
self-inflicted.
their occasion.
No. Now we are all saying a monkey needs to go off their back. Now it's become a gorilla. Now it has become a King Kong in their back. South Africa need to get the King Kong of choking out of their back, and it's going to take them years. Because I'll tell you why.
A lot of baggage.
I'll tell you why. Look, the likes of the great Alan Donald, Sean Pollock, Gary Kirsten, Herschel Gibbs, Jack Callis, Lance
managed to do it.
Klusner, Mark Boucher,
Graham Smith.
Graham Smith. Imagine that stars.
we've not got
Hansi
to
Cronje,
A.B.
A.B.
de
de
Villiers.
Villiers, Hansi Cronje, A.B. de Villiers, Morne Mokul, Dave
Dave
Steyn,
Steyn.
Vernon Philander,
Yeah.
Imran Tahir. Those greats never won a World Cup. And there was a very, very interesting point is that something died in South African cricket in the 2015 semi-final loss to New Zealand.
Absolutely.
The way how they lost, because they were peaking.
Yes.
Finally, they had won a knockout game against a team in the T20 in the World Cup. Finally, after 23 years of trying.
Yeah.
But then when the semi-final came in Auckland against a team where they had dominated, they lost it in a spectacular way. That's why Pradeep Srivalsan, the victory margin was by 4 wickets, if I'm not mistaken. But it came of the last ball, second last ball.
It was
1 ball to spare. 5 runs needed of 2 balls. Elliott smashed it.
Elliott and Vittori on the
Yes.
crease. Yes.
Grant Elliott and Daniel Vittori. And New Zealand were undefeated in that entire tournament until Melbourne. So, is it added pressure for India now that Pakistan has got Davis cricket?
No, there was
not
going to be
really.
It was
pressure
always
than
going to be
anywhere.
pressure.
Doesn't really matter.
The preparation doesn't change. Nothing changes
No,
for
no,
India
no,
because
no.
they know
India have won at least 5 or 6 ICC events. That's why they are one of the best in the business at this point in time,
Okay.
along with Australia. And if we may have to say, to a certain extent, Pakistan.
But I just want to, before we wrap, just want to talk about Pakistan a little more over here. What is it about this team? They are serial, by the way, entrance into the semi-finals.
Yeah.
They've now made it to 6 and now a final as well, of course. What is it about this team or the kind of cricket that they've played over the last 15 years that they made it a habit of reaching at least the semi-finals, and now I think that it'll be the 4th final?
Third final.
3rd final.
7, 9.
7, 9,
Now.
and now no
Yeah.
final in between.
No.
2010 semi-final. 2012 semi-final. 2010 it needed something freakish from Michael Hussey to deny them the final.
Of course.
2012 it needed Sri Lanka's absolute home support and brilliance to turn the
Brilliance,
tables
yes.
on Pakistan.
Yes.
14 they didn't make it, 16 they
what
didn't
is
make
it
it.
what do you think they're getting right in terms of at least reaching the semi-finals on a consistent basis?
I think they know how to peak when their situation is dire.
No, it's like what I said. Sometimes they'll just find themselves in a situation. They won't know how they
How to
reach
deal with
there.
it.
But when they reach a knockout situation, they're like, yeah, okay, fine, no problem.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I don't know. I
just feel, the way this team works and traditionally how they work, they really thrive on these knockouts far more.
Yeah.
The psyche is very clear. You win and there's something to play for. They know the reward very well. So there's that extra sort of incentive to win. In the group stage, they just sort of, again.
Yep. So that is about it, and tomorrow will be a
dramatic day.
massive day tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, and if India do that, and if they beat England, then we are going
Then
to
you'll
see.
find us here perhaps every time. We're not going back
We will
home.
see something very unprecedented because
Yes.
look, 2007 the format was an unknown. We all thought, okay, India Pakistan, what's going to happen? That was an ad, but this 15 years on, ever since the birth of the IPL, it's a new era. T20 is the format.
It's the dominant format.
You see India and Pakistan, and there is a lot at stake. I mean, imagine the consequences. Supposing India wins the World Cup, then it will only be redemption that the IPL is one of the greatest leagues in the world for producing talent and ensuring.
It'll also be redemption given what had happened in 2017.
Not really. I mean,
Let's
see,
not forget
2019, you mean?
20
Champions Trophy
Trophy
final.
No, but
Yes.
then look, that was an ODI format. You can't link
Again,
that
but
with
that's
that.
the thing they'll be riding on you, and that's the last time you met Pakistan at such a big stage.
But then again, for that, Pakistan wanted the revenge of 2007. 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
True.
But the problem is, see, if Pakistan win,
Yeah.
now here is a nation that has managed to withstand the IPL tsunami and has won 2 World T20 titles. Imagine, you counted them out as one of the nations. I mean, what will they do in T20 eyes? But if you look at consistency,
They're right up there.
no one beats Pakistan. I mean, look, 7 final, 9 final, which they won, 10 semi-final, 12 semi-final, 14, 16, they didn't make it, 21 semi-final, 22 final, 6
So they're
semi-final or
underrated.
finals.
We talk about New Zealand being that one team who are always punching above their weight. Pakistan have done it
Pakistan have
and
done.
reached 2 finals, won one of those, and now
But even New Zealand fall behind Pakistan when it comes to consistency.
Yeah, true.
See, 7 semi-final, they got knocked out. 9 didn't make it,
Right.
10 didn't make it, 12 didn't make it, 14 didn't make it,
16 was the first
semi-final,
time.
21 final. So they didn't make it into the knockouts for 3 good editions.
correct.
9, 10, 12, 14, 4
4
good
actually.
editions. So, and they also suffered the biggest choke, New Zealand, in 2014. They needed 7 or 6 against South Africa, lost by 2 runs. Humanity, why Topley is not playing, Topley is injured, out of the World
Yeah,
Cup.
that's why Taimal Mills came back.
Yep.
Yes.
No?
GGK, don't worry. Rohit will win us the semi-final and final. He's too big a player to miss. Hitman's, I wouldn't say century loading. I will say a big knock of 50, 75 in that range.
GGK has been saying
Yeah.
that for a while now.
You've joined us now. GGK
Yeah.
is a fan of 2 players. One is Rohit. There is Sanju Samson.
Yeah.
All right.
Pradeep Shival, just go. I'll take this last round before we sign off. Just one.
Gone up.
He was saying this in the previous match as well, I remember.
Still remember the Lance Kluser and Donald last ball out on a wide. No, that wasn't a wide, Pradeep. That
That was a
wasn't
wide,
a
no?
wide.
No.
It was a Yorker which Lance Klusner dug it out to mid-on.
Mid-on.
Mid-off.
Mid-off.
Mid-off. Was, Mark
Yes.
Ward dived. He then flung it underarm to Damien Fleming. And interesting bit of trivia, the Australian team had practiced bowling about the bowling game. 3-4 days prior to the Super Sixes. They remembered that lesson. Fleming just threw it down the ground to Gilchrist. Gilchrist with the bails off. And it was sad that one of the greatest players of that era should be defined by a knock of 0 of 0. And when he came out of the ground and he was trying to still collect his thoughts, many people were with an expletive, why didn't you run, Donald? But again, look, that was unprecedented pressure. There are only 2 instances when I have witnessed unprecedented pressure. One was 1999, the other was 2019, that final. It was unprecedented in the history of the game. Remember, South Africa were going into a realm of the unknown at that time. It was only 7 years since their readmission back into the fold. And so, there was so much at stake and they wanted to get the better of Australia because If you look at the rankings at that time, South Africa were miles ahead when it came to competition, except against Australia. And they wanted that win so badly. So that is why it was heartbreak. I mean, I have never been a Proteas fan either in their cricket or in their rugby because of obvious reasons, but it was hard not to be moved with that. And ever since 1999, South Africa has never recovered. And they still have not recovered in the 21st century. Remember, they haven't won against teams in ICC World events in the 21st century. Pakistan being one of them in the World T20. So tomorrow, big day, we will start our coverage pretty early tomorrow. It is India versus England. And Nikhil will be there with all the updates. Will India end their 15-year wait and come into the final? Or can they end a 7-year wait and reach the final and end a 15-year wait of winning the title?
Yes.
It's not 8 years, sorry. 2014. So,
Yeah.
not since 2014 has India not reached the World T20 final. Tomorrow we'll find out whether at this time, whether we'll all be cheering, whether there will be confetti being thrown or we'll all be glum. My indication, I mean, if I have to say it now, it looks like India have the vibes of history with them.
True.
Yeah.
England start as the underdogs because England have not found the enigma code in trying to solve India's T20.
Also,
game
couple
plan.
of things, when we speak of history, couple of things that India can look back at, because there are some parallels between 2011 and 2022 as well.
But there was no tie in that.
There was no tie. There was
That's
no
it.
tie. Okay, we close to a tie in the match against Pakistan. Let's not forget.
Yeah. Had Mohammad Nawaz not bowled that wide, but I don't think Nawaz will bowl the final over if it comes to India's game in the final, because it'll be Mohammad Wasim or Haris Rauf. Simple. They have got their bowling order sorted now.
Yeah.
They'll be eagerly waiting, and then on 11th onwards, if India win, it'll be India versus Pakistan
13th.
on 13th November. So that is about it for this edition of this special New Zealand versus Pakistan live. For all of you joining us now, yeah,
Thank
I've
you so
already got
much.
my mind on India.
So
England.
side Saturday tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
and
for
we pretty
people
much
joining
know
us
that you
now,
have your mind set on that game as well. So,
Yep.
but let's just see.
Yeah.
Lots happening tomorrow. So
yep,
do
New
stay
Zealand
tuned.
eliminated Pakistan through to their third T20 World Cup final. Will India join them on November 10th? We shall see. Until then, subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. And also, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Vanakkam.
See you then.
Join us in the morning
Bye.
tomorrow.